What's up, guys? How you doing? It's a new day, new clothes, new Zach. If you're watching this video, that means I got my crap together and I got these videos up, which is really, really awesome. And that also means that I'm getting enough support to be able to keep doing this. So thank you to everybody again for all your support. Just so you guys know, before I jump into this, I'm going to jump into Wake very, very quickly. If you haven't heard the song yet, and you'd like to do like a listen before you listen along and kind of like hear how it's written, you can go in the link in the description. It's on SoundCloud right now. Or if it's after April 14th, you can go and listen to it on any platform. So, sweet. Let's get into it. So before we get too far into some of the nitty-gritty music stuff that I threw in here, I just want to explain what Wake means to me. I feel like it was a great name to start off the album and a great song to do so too. It's to mark the beginning of the album, the wake of the album, and I think that carries over pretty well. And then, if you know me, of course, there's always an emotional meaning behind everything that I do. The emotions behind the word wake is it just feels like it's an underused word when you use it in the sense not of like waking up, but more in the sense of like leaving something behind. We have emotions, and they affect other people. These emotions end up leaving a wake behind you. You don't necessarily experience all of the things that you put into the world when it comes to emotion. You're leaving emotions behind for anyone else that may get caught in your wake. And I think that's what I mean when I say things like slave in the wake we're all in. We're all in a wake. It could be someone else's, it could be your own. It's basically the guy telling the girl, do what you want, do what you wish. I really care about you. However, if you do this, you're leaving a wake. And that's pretty much the premise of the song. So let's get into the fun stuff. Let's get into the music. So let's talk about this build. Starting from the piano, the chords are very simple. I intended to keep the chords away from the root just so you had that feeling of uncertainty as time goes on. It almost feels like it wants to complete, but it doesn't. It brings you right back to where you started. These few measures here that I'm looking at right now are the most important part of the song to me. Just because of this build, I slave in the wake, we create, or whatever the lyric is. I've changed it multiple times. But I still feel like it's such a powerful lyric, and I couldn't leave it alone with just piano. So what I ended up doing, I took the chords that I got from the MIDI patches when I played this live, and then I put it on top of a EP patch. So the EP patch played what I played live, essentially. And then that patch, from there, I turned it into regular audio and then ended up reversing it a few times and started playing with it. And then once I got something that I thought that I liked and I thought sounded like nice and warm, I added a gradual distortion effect to it as time goes on to kind of help the build out and give this an electric guitar kind of feeling. So let's listen to that real quick. So that's pretty cool. I like that a lot. If you listen to the song though, that's not it. And I'm going to explain some of the other things that I added in there to make it sound a little bit cooler. I had this vision of a cacophony of sound from just anything that could happen in real life. It's great because whenever you listen to these songs, I feel like you can sort of lose real life a bit. And everything that happens in this song reminds you there's still a human in here. He still goes throughout his day. He still does everything that you do in the same exact way. Has these same feelings, just doesn't know how to convey them. But in essence, it's to show that life is hectic. And no matter how hectic it gets, you have to keep going. That's my motto. You have to keep going. I say that a lot, and I probably will be saying that a lot. And that's it. Pretty straightforward, not too much going on. Definitely sounds like a lot more going on when it's in context. But that's still the kind of the beauty of it. It didn't need to be too much. So let's explain what you heard. It started out with a siren, then it went to a phone ringing sound that you'd get if you're calling someone, keys jingling, white noise, a whistle. That actually came from the same patch that I found with the siren. And then at the very end, you'll hear an airplane that you're in, and you'll hear a seatbelt signal. And that's kind of like a melodic way for me to put something cool in there. And in the second build, you'll hear that melody continue out through, and I'll play that for you then. In general, I think it made a really cool build.
I slave every day and awake, I thank God
So I finish the build and then continue writing the song, and then we get to the second time I do it, and I said, well, if I built up the first time, I got to do something cool in the second time. So I used a lot of the same patches. I added some different stuff in there. I added some strings. Let's take a listen to those strings, actually. Let's see how they sound. Oh man, I love those strings. They're so nice. They definitely do make the song, and you probably can't really hear them that well alone. I feel like they're there's just an element of beauty that you can never really get out of them that I really wanted to invoke. But that's fine, you know, I can improve on that. I still think the strings just make all the difference. You'll hear in the second build again, which is pretty much the same as the first one, except I do a few tweaks, and I'll explain those. Let's take a listen to this build real quick. This is the second build, so this is in the second chorus.
I speak and you can't hear a sound. I wait all my pain in the lake where my face lay down.
So a few of the things that I changed, I took off the decrescendo that was in the EP patch that kind of just like rang out in the first one. I cut that off and replaced it with strings instead. And I just had them lay down one note. Let me see what that note is real quick. That should be a C. So you got a C4 there, and it kind of, I made it so that when you hit that note, it's going to be a lower velocity than the other notes around it, and then I made that note carry out through. So you'll hear that note consistent very, very slightly in the second to last chord, and then when it gets to the last chord, it's just that last note that rings out. And I think that really, it makes the music swell down a lot more and slow down and say, okay, we're going back into sad song territory now, if that makes sense. What do you want? That reminds me, if you guys are watching this and you haven't checked out my stream, you're missing out. Go check out my stream. I stream with my buddy Bobby. You'll see, if you know some of my old friends from when I did YouTube, you'll remember Bobby, you'll remember Alex. There are quite a few people that I think you'd be really interested in at least meeting too, because we've been having a lot of fun on streams recently, and I want to really continue that and really reach you guys a little bit better. So let's get to the last part of the song. In the second half, after the second build, I go back to using the just nice straight live audio that I used when I first recorded the song. All the other vocals are pretty much done after the fact, and originally it was fully written, but most of the vocals were done again in post just because the vocals weren't that great at the time. And I know they're not great now, they'll get better. What I did do at the end, just to make it sound a little different, the very end of the song, I added some background vocals, which I thought were really, 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 really great, especially the oohs. Oh man.
Slave in the wake, we all know we put ourselves in.
It's crazy how things sound when it's dry, isn't it? But still, I love those oohs with a burning passion. Absolute burning passion. Those background vocals are probably my favorite part of the song. And that makes me just want to keep adding background vocals and stuff. This was done after the rest of the album was written. These background vocals, yeah, I added these in pretty much last. This is one of the last things I did with the album. And it just made it. I was up late one night and I was like, what if I sang along with some of this stuff and just kind of see where that went? And I did, and that's what happened.
Slave in the wake world. Slave in the wake world. Slave in the wake, we all know we put ourselves in.
And that's it. I guess we're in. With that, I think I'm going to wrap it up. So, hey, let me thank you guys again, just because it means so much to me. This is a huge journey for me, and every day I'm reminded why I want to keep making this journey. And you guys help me with that. Thank you. Again, links in the description for the song and anything else that you guys want to find of me. Should be a nice cool link down there that you can check to see where you can find all my stuff. I'll be live on Twitch weekday nights, 10 p.m. So I'll see you guys then. If you want to talk, jump in chat, say hi. It's not too big. You guys can definitely jump in there and say hi to me and talk to me. It'd be really cool. Thank you. I'm gonna go slave in the wake. No, I'm not gonna end it like that. That's so dumb.